Hello, everyone. There's a lot I want to talk about today on this wonderful Tuesday morning, so let's get started. Um, there's been a couple of NBA players that are going to be sitting out for this restart. One of them is because of injury. The other one was because he wants to save himself from being injured, and the other one was because of family. Um, but it's just interesting to see that there's a pattern of not important players per se, but key role players. I would say like sitting out because I don't because like I said, there's gonna be a few star players in my opinion that are gonna sit out because I feel like the LeBrons, and Kawhis, and Giannis and stuff are gonna play. But it'll be interesting to see what those key role players are gonna sit out, and if they do sit out, then how they're gonna be able to make it up in free agency market. I'll talk about more once we get a very good idea of who's gonna be there, who's gonna be not, and hopefully by tomorrow, but we'll see. Um, so also news came out recently that Dak Prescott signed his tender for 31 mil, which is about his worth, in my opinion. That's the right number. So the team has until July 15th to try to get an extension with him. And a lot of people are still saying that that's going to happen. But in my mind, I don't feel like it's going to happen because if it did, it would have happened by now. Um, now we can now if it does happen, great. But if not, oh well, I'm not going to sweat it at all. So in my mind, Dak will play out his franchise tag and then he'll walk away in free agency, in my opinion. Now, I wouldn't rule out the possibility of the Cowboys making a trade so that way they don't lose nothing for him. Because even though they do have Andy Dalton back there, you just want him as a good starting. You just want him as a good backup QB, not your starter, the future QB. Um, so it wouldn't surprise me to make a trade. I know Jet safety Jamal Adams wants to come to the Cowboys, but they already have a quarterback, so that wouldn't really work to trade Dak for Jamal Adams. But it wouldn't, yeah, like I said, it wouldn't surprise me to trade. I wouldn't expect the trade right now, but maybe in the middle of the season, depending on how things go, if the Cowboys are clicking, if they're not, type of thing. Um, but I'll talk about more Dak Prescott more on July 15th. Because by then we'll know, okay, did the team make an extension with him or not? So Pistons GM came out recently and said that um, Blake Griffin and Derrick Rose are a part of the team's future. Um, really, really. Okay, so here's what you're telling me. You're telling me that you have a roster that can compete right now, and then if you just got a good piece, then you can go win it all. Is that what you're telling me? Because if they're a part of your future, that's what you're basically telling me. Here's why here's why this is complete crap to begin with. Okay, so let's start with this. Even though Blake Griffin and D Rose have some talent, they're a little bit on the older side, and they're in their 30s. They're not as young, and then B, that's when they're healthy, aka when healthy because they get injured so much. So you cannot have Blake Griffin as your best player or D Rose as your best player on a championship level team. You cannot. You need to have like a LeBron or a Kawhi, or if you want to contend like a James Harden or the Joker or Donovan Mitchell or something, you got to have those type of players. Your best player can't be an injured and older Blake Griffin or D Rose. You can't. And in my mind, the Pistons is not the ideal free agent destination. So what the Pistons need to do is they need to go into the draft and just accumulate draft picks like Philly did a while ago. So that way they can acquire a Ben Simmons in the draft, and then they can acquire a Joel Embiid in the draft and kind of build from there, in my opinion. Because right now, they're not set up for a championship. Now, if the Pistons were in the playoffs or just barely missed it or something, since they're right around their area, then I can understand, okay, yeah, we're close, but we just need a piece or two, and then bam, we got it. You were one of the worst teams in the East this year. Therefore, you are not close to going. It's not like because of injury. Well, I know Blake Griffin was injured half the time, but still, even if he wasn't, you guys were not going to go far. I can tell you that right now. Now, the Pistons do have a good head coach, in my opinion. He's not great, but he's a good head coach, been in playoff many times. But the problem is he's not built for a rebuild, so you got to acquire talent around him for him to coach, basically. So, like I said earlier, they just got to in my opinion, they should actually trade away both Blake Griffin and D Rose. So that way they don't walk in free agency just in case of that were to happen. And then they just need to keep with those first round draft picks, and they can get maybe like um, I feel like they have the first round draft pick this year, and if they can get one for Blake Griffin, because I feel like they can get a first rounder, and then Derrick Rose might be a second rounder, but maybe a late first rounder depending on the team. So if it's like a Clippers or Lakers, then that'd be a late first rounder. But I feel like if they can get that, and then just get like one or two just solid role players like Joe Harris or something like that, just get one of those type of guys. Then after 2 or 3 seasons of kind of like having the rookies build, then you can make a case. Okay, yeah, we're ready for the future. We're ready to start contending. But right now, you're not ready to start contending. So let's stop that crap. Okay, come. Okay, so moving on. So Hard Knocks is going to be filming 2 teams this year, which I thought was very interesting because usually it's 1 team. It's going to be the Chargers and Rams. Now, in my mind, I was trying to think of, okay, what kind of topics could they cover during Hard Knocks? So for first, I'm going to start with the Chargers. So for me, I feel like the 2 things that the Chargers can go for is maybe they can talk about like playing 12 away games a year. 16 away games a year. Basically, it's just like how there's no fans there. Obviously they're coming preseason, so it's like you're not covering actual game experience, but maybe players can talk about that during the practice. We can see psychological, like, okay, how does that deal with players in practice? Okay, how does that deal with them mentally? That'd be pretty interesting to kind of see and figure out. The other thing is the quarterback battle between Tyrod Taylor and Justin Herbert. Now, we all know that Tyrod Taylor is basically going to start the season, but we all believe that Justin Herbert can end up finishing the season, depending on how things go. And in my mind, that's what I think is going to happen. So if Justin Herbert's going to be able to finish the season, then there should be a battle. Then there should be a QB battle to start, and that Tyrod Taylor's most likely going to win it. So that'll be kind of, I would like to see kind of that battle, what's going down there during preseason. Okay, now for the Rams, there's only 2 storylines here that I could think that could be interesting. One is the new facility, like the new SoFi Stadium that they're going to play in. Maybe like they could have some practices there, and we can kind of see what it looks like. We kind of like see the inside of it, stuff like that. Just kind of get the feel for it. And then the other one, I know this doesn't apply to now per se, but last year we are all wondering what happened to Todd Gurley's situation. So even though Todd Gurley's not with the team anymore, he's with Atlanta. Hopefully, we can be able to kind of figure, like, hopefully they can discuss maybe, because some teams discuss previous seasons, so it wouldn't surprise me if they maybe discussed, last year, like, Todd was unhealthy, or he had this problem, or whatever. And then also, speaking of Gurley, now that he's left, okay, now what? They have a couple running backs. Now, what's the situation look like? What's the running back battle going to be? Is it going to be a running back by committee? Because right now, that's what it looks like it's going to be. Is there a star going to emerge in the preseason camp? So all that stuff would be kind of interesting to see on Hard Knocks, even though I usually don't watch Hard Knocks. But if I were going to watch it, that's what I would like to see. So that's going to be a short show for today. Thank you very much, and y'all have a wonderful day. Please subscribe to my channel, though. Bye.